Hey guys, so I think this is the worst part of being a wedding photographer. It's mostly because I hate money, and I feel like I love taking photos and being a photographer, and it's something that you have to make money. Like, let's be honest, if this is going to be a job, you need to start learning how to make money and how to deal with money. It's kind of the yin and yang of the business. And it's crucially important because you need to get paid, you need to obtain your equipment, you need to, really, this is a business, so you need to be making money. I think this is going to be a longer lesson, so just bear with me. There's a lot of detail here, and there's a lot of philosophy and physical business part of it. I went to film school, so I really have kind of learned as I go, which is really the best way because you start to see what works, see what doesn't work. The biggest thing here is setting your prices and getting paid. You need to be flexible. You need to figure out how you're going to make money, what's worth your time, and that you're not killing yourself. Photography and getting paid to do photography is this weird place between business and technique and technical and artistry that it's just kind of hard to find that sweet spot and what you're comfortable with. So let's look back at the other lesson. Make sure you figured out what actual things you want to offer and how to spread them out. It kind of depends on where you are. Obviously in Los Angeles, the wedding photography market where I am is really saturated and prices are all over the place. And to be honest, there's always going to be someone that's going to be offering the same things you do for a less price. You have to be confident in the photographer that you are and show that you're a professional. Make sure that your website looks professional. Make sure that everything is up to par because that's how you're gonna kind of determine how much you are able to charge. If you don't look like you're a professional, people aren't going to want to pay you the amount that you're asking for. So your website needs to be on spot with your prices. Once you've figured out your kind of market and where what prices you're kind of gonna aim for based on other photographers around, you can start building out your package. I'm gonna kind of throw out some prices for what I charge as a photographer in Los Angeles, in the South Bay in Los Angeles, where the wedding market is saturated. So it may be different in your area, so kind of judge that and look at other websites. You can also kind of send emails to other wedding photographers, like you're going to get married, and get their wedding prices just to check out. Okay, so I use a basic method of 4 packages. I have a smaller package at the very low end, I have 2 middle packages, and then I have a higher package. So the way that works is that the very lowest package I'll offer is really just to kind of get in the door and be a cheaper amount. The 2 middle packages are much more closer in price and product, and the final one is a bigger, all-in, big package that I can offer. My lowest package runs around $1,200, and that's for 6 to 8 hours a wedding. It kind of depends. When I first started, I used 6 hours. I kind of am okay with working 8 hours now. So it just depends on where you are as a photographer. I offer about 200 photos that are edited, and that also goes into your time editing. And then I don't offer an assistant. So that's just me by myself, $1,200, 6 to 8 hours, 200 photos, online gallery. I don't give anything physical. The next 2 packages I start to bump up. So those tend to be 8 to 10 to 12 hours, probably more on the 8 to 10 hour side, but I do offer more photos here. So I offer 250 to 300 photos for the smaller of the 2 medium, and then I'll offer only 8 hours. Then I'll get into an online gallery, and then depending on the couple, I'll tend to offer prints, but that gets into a la carte mode, which we'll talk about in a little bit. The bigger of the 2 medium, I'll bump up $200. So remember the small one was $1,200? The smaller of the medium is going to be coming in around $1,600, and then the next one would be $1,800. You kind of can decide how you want to adjust those by offering more photos for the higher middle one and less photos in the other one, and then more hours. So the higher of the middle one will be more like 10 hours, more photos, like 300 photos edited. I personally don't offer any physical prints. You can, and that you can use that as why the price is going up. You kind of got to figure how you want to present yourself as far as what physically you're going to give. Again, that goes back to deciding what products you have as a business. I don't really like going to print stuff out. I will give them edited photos so that they own the disc or they own the online download so that they can go print out whatever they need. I'm going to trust that they're going to print out good photos. The final package, it really kind of depends on where you are as a photographer or as a business. I've gotten up to about $2,500 now as a final package, close to $3,000, and that will offer unlimited time. I think people like hearing that you'll be there from start to finish. I'm used to being there for 10 to 12 hours, which is fine for me, but it may not be okay with you. If you only want to work 10 hours or 8 hours as a photographer, just set that. It kind of depends, again, on how you want to run your business. My top package, 2,500, unlimited hours, and I'll probably give them about 300 to 350 photos. And then I'll offer an engagement session at a discounted rate if I want to start to shoot engagement photos. And that goes across the board. You can kind of play with that. So those are the four packages I have. I think the big thing to take away from this is that you have a smallest package that you can get small, quick clients that you're okay with. You have two medium packages that they're okay with jumping up just $200 to get that bigger package. And then the final big package is the big money maker. If you can lock down a few of those during the summer and be making tons of money, those are great. One thing I didn't mention is that I will add an assistant depending on how big the wedding is. There have been weddings that they're smaller. They're like, I don't know, 60 people where I'll get a bigger package. And I won't need a second photographer, so I can kind of keep that money for myself. But if I feel like I need extra coverage, depending on the type of photographer you are, I will add a photographer on the bigger package. So that kind of goes as far as packages go. There's a kind of a deeper philosophy to this. There's also an a la carte mode where you can kind of work in what you want, but it really depends on your customer. I feel like there are a lot of people out there who take photography for granted almost, where they don't kind of rely on your professionalism and your eye. Where they can be like, hey, I got my nephew Billy who's got a camera. He can just go shoot and it's fine. I don't know why I'm paying $2,500 for this. But you really kind of got to sit down with them and talk to them and tell them that like this is your job, this is a profession, and you're paying for your experience and for your eye. The little nephew Billy is not going to know where to be, when to be. He may make things look good, like because cameras out there will do that for you, but you're really paying for the quality of you're going to be there. You're going to have the right equipment, you're going to have a good attitude, and your eye is different and better than anyone else's, and it's an individual artist. That's where the artistry kind of comes in, and why photography is this weird place where you're stuck between technology, a business, and art. So you kind of got to find a way to show that you're technically advanced and that you're an artist, and because of those two things, that's why you can charge this much money. The best place to do that is when you sit down with a customer and you show them your prices. And this goes back to why you don't put prices on your website, because you want to get in and you want to talk to the person. You want to show them who you are. You want to explain that you're in that perfect spot where you can charge that much money and you're getting this quality. And it's just for you specifically. The couple that's hiring you is already having a lot of costs, right? There's tons of vendors, there's flowers, there's invitations. They've already spent a lot of money for this one day. Everything after this one day is going to be materialized into your photos and probably a video. But your photos are what we're most important about. So you got to remind the couple that that money is going into the future of the wedding, the documentation. In 20 or 30 years, that day is going to be gone except for their memories, but it's going to be physicalized in a photo on their wall. It's going to be physicalized in an album. So that's kind of what they're paying for. They're paying for the future of that day. And we're going to talk more about how to get your first customer and how to talk to them, but that's kind of in a later lesson, but that's kind of something very important when you're talking about price, is you can't really put a price on that. It's kind of memorable and it's forever. The photos are forever. The flowers are going to last a day. So you kind of got to use that as to your advantage. I would also say that you kind of have to be flexible in a business. As you're growing, it's okay to kind of offer low prices or kind of give them a deal, but you got to make sure that you're getting paid. That you're getting paid for your time and you're feeling like it's worth it. Because if you're not getting your own money and you're not making the money that you feel is right to you as what you're doing in a job, it's not going to be worth it and your company's not going to grow. Obviously, don't offer very little prices as forever. Like you're going to have to do one summer where it's this much money and tell yourself that the next summer your prices are going to go up. But you got to make sure that you pay yourself and that you keep it consistent and that you're happy with what you're doing. If you're happy and you're confident, your photos are going to be so much better. So just maintain that kind of thought when you're setting your prices. Again, this is not my favorite topic as far as money goes, but it's very important and crucial to your business to grow as a business, and as technology changes, you need to be able to keep up with that monetarily.